So the reason that everything in moderation doesn't work for me is because my body is more sensitive than the average person's body. Okay? So something that might not affect you or negatively influence you has drastic, dire, over the top effects on me. So like somebody can eat fucking breaded calamari, a dish with a side of like fries or some shit, and they're fine and they don't really notice anything. Maybe a bit of indigestion at most, but nothing noticeable. Now, if I have that even once, which I fucking did, I'll get breakouts all of a sudden that I didn't have and that were very stable for a very long time. And this kind of pisses me off because I'm still trying to maneuver, um, like being social with people and politely being able to do my diet around them. But it seems like people almost get personally offended if you don't eat the same food that they eat, which is really, really, really stupid. And I need to learn how to say no more. But nonetheless, I just remind myself that moderation is not my thing. I am obsessive for a reason. Because if I do stray from this diet whatsoever, even a little bit, the side effects of that are drastic and they're living fucking hell. So people who aren't negatively influenced by eating like a standard American diet, they can go ahead and say that, and they can't empathize with you if you're a very sensitive person physically. They can't understand the hell that you go through every day by doing the same things that they do. Biologically, we're different. So if you personally don't feel something, then you can't really comprehend somebody else feeling that thing. If you've never experienced depression in your entire life, you can't really empathize with somebody who is experiencing depression because you don't really know what that feeling is. You've never experienced it in your life. So you can easily say, "Oh, just shake it off." Just think about positive things. Why are you staying depressed? That makes no logical sense. And there's plenty of people like that in the world. And it can be very irritating because people just don't fucking understand. Like if you're very histamine intolerant and you eat the same foods they eat, you turn into a fucking tomato and your entire face blows up for days, weeks, maybe even months just from eating a few bad things that don't agree with your body, and they're fucking fine. So you can let other people go ahead and do their moderation, but for a select few people, moderation doesn't work. And moderation is actually dangerous and counterintuitive to your goals and is going to keep you sick and unwell for the rest of your life. So you might very well be one of those people who, like, moderation is not an option for you. I am one of those people where I don't do well with moderation whatsoever. I have to be all or nothing. From a psychological standpoint too, like if I don't invest fully and commit fully into something, then I'm not going to commit at all, I find. Like I'm going to easily fall off with it. Like working out, I have to work out 7 days a week or I find that I just won't work out at all. I'll just justify, well, I missed, 3 days this week. I only worked out 4 days, so let's just fucking give up. There's no point. I already lost out on all those, 3 days of gains. So I don't really see a point if I'm not going to maximize my potential. And that sounds crazy, but some people are just wired that way, where they're very obsessive. So I am like that psychologically, but also I know myself well enough to know that I can't handle moderation. I can't handle drinking in moderation. Other people might be able to. I will drink myself into liver failure and death. All right? I can't handle it. And, quite frankly, I don't feel my best. Even when I do, in the short term, drink in moderation, I just still feel cloudy and depressed and, like, just inflamed and awful and sickly. And it ages you quicker and it just makes you, like, not live up to your potential and what you're capable of. So I want to be all or nothing with anything that I'm trying to accomplish in life. Because, like, I want to see what's actually possible, what heights I can possibly reach, before we die in this life. I want to see what's the best physique I can possibly attain. What's the healthiest I can possibly be. Like, I don't want to poison my body once a week or eat unhealthy sometimes. Like, that doesn't appeal to me. I don't want to feel less than my absolute potential best. Like, why would you want to feel 80% of, like, your maximum potential happiness or motivation or focus or intellect? Like, why are you okay with less than 100% optimal? Why is anybody okay with that? Why would you want to go through life feeling like that? just to socialize, just to drink with friends because you guys can't be creative enough to figure out something else to do while sober. A lot of people are like that too. It's like their friendships and even their love interests are fully dependent on being fucked up on a substance in order to really bond with this person. Remove that substance and just say, like, we're not gonna get fucked up in each other's presence, and see how very quickly, like, you guys realize you don't have anything in common. I was like that with, like, a lot of people, where, you know, if I wasn't just getting drunk or high all the time with them, we truly weren't really compatible. And, like, that's just a really crabs in the bucket negative way of living, and really self-destructive way of living. I think that the average person, with their moderation, lives a very destructive lifestyle, and they don't realize it. It's like denial. Like, I think self-destruction is normalized. Drinking once a week is normalized, but that's self-destruction. Like, you are fully preventing your brain from developing properly, and you're reducing your intellect like 100%. Like, you hands down are being like 4 years sober, 3 or 4 years sober. I realized, like, you're actually inhibiting yourself. Like, it's not debatable, you are. Now, to what extent is debatable and varies person to person, but you absolutely fucking are. And that's just crazy that people don't want to be their best version of themselves. So, yeah, I don't really believe in moderation, and I don't really vibe with, like, the average person's views, which kind of makes it hard to relate to people, but I'm kind of more content being in my own world. And even if I have to isolate myself from people, like, I don't mind doing that because I have certain ideals for myself and, like, goals and directions I want to go in life. And if people are holding me back in that, like, it's better not to associate with them, because they're just not going to let me live the life that I want to live. They might sabotage my health, get me to drink, get high, eat shit food, just because they want to feel comfortable in my presence because they're doing those things, or because they don't want to feel like I'm better than them by being healthy and caring about my health and well-being or my goals or things like that. So, yeah, it's totally up to you. I don't judge people for wanting to do everything in moderation or, you know, have a standard diet, because it's totally your call. And if you can tolerate that and feel just fine, then by all means do it if you want to. But people don't understand that, like, I don't feel good eating normal, like, these normal diets. Like, I don't feel good. It changes and disfigures my face to the point where I get insane acne and fucking inflamed, bloated nose, and just, like, I like physically look worse, and I feel worse, and I have chronic fatigue, and it's gotten to the point where it's manifested in severe histamine issues, where I'll be, like, borderline fainting, like, wherever I go, if I eat something that's, like, raises my histamine. I think this was, like, after COVID that this happened to me. It changed something in my biology or my genome that made it so that I can no longer tolerate, like, things without having, like, a histamine spike. And if you go on Reddit and you type in, like, histamine intolerance COVID or something, it's happening to a lot of people. There's a video that Dr. John Campbell came out with on histamine intolerance related to, like, long COVID or vaccines. I don't know, it could be one or the other. I didn't get any, but I think that COVID probably did change my biology. So now it's like, there's no question about it. I have to be fully on point with what I eat and my health, like 100%, or my body literally punishes me, where it feels like my body's, like, seizing up and, like, I'm gonna have a seizure or something. Like, it's just the worst, craziest feeling ever. And it feels like almost like a narcoleptic episode. The most insane fatigue just hitting you like a fucking, like, you're running into a wall. And it's just hard to explain that to people. But it's not just me experiencing that. A lot of people actually are going through very similar. Or, like, POTS, POTS. There's a few different names that are basically describing the exact same shit people are going through. But something's affecting a lot of people. And, like, many people are miserable and falling apart and dying. And they don't really know a solution to their problem because of these newfound illnesses, like post-COVID, post-vaccine, whatever. You know, you go on the long COVID subreddit, so there's a lot of people that are actually gearing up to commit suicide even. It's really, really sad. But this diet puts all those symptoms into remission. Like, there was a good 6 month stretch where I was just dealing with ever increasing histamine issues that were destroying my quality of life, making me sleep 12 hours a night, making me just faint, making me confused, forgetful, and it was living hell. Like I thought I was dying. I thought I had cancer or something. But then 2 weeks on this diet and like zero sugar, like nothing, and I'm good. So I can't have honey, I can't have fruit, just meat, dairy, and that's it, and eggs. So yeah, if you're going through similar, try that out. 0 grams of sugar, grams of carbs per day, unless it comes from unpasteurized dairy, and see how that affects you. And yeah,